This is The Broken Shift with Nurse Natalie. Healthcare doesn't break in chaos, it breaks quietly. It never fails to surprise me when a nurse reaches out to help someone and then gets hurt. Nurses spend their lives helping others. It's part of who they are. They care for strangers, advocate for patients. Nurses often go out of their way to help people in need. But what happens when that instinct to help puts them in danger? Today's case file is the story of John Joseph Torneo, a retired nurse in Florida who was murdered inside his home. Joseph Torneo was a man known for helping others. Torneo was 67 years old, retired nurse, a neighbor, a man described by those around him as someone who cared deeply about others. That's a nurse for you. That is a nurse for you. According to investigators, he had a history of helping people who were struggling. At some point, he allowed a young man to live with him, a 19-year-old who needed a place to stay. He opened his doors. He let him in, and he lost his life. This is so common with healthcare personalities. That's why I bring these stories to you. It's not just a story about nurses in the workplace. It's nurses and the type of people that we are, the type of people that become nurses, and how a lot of times nurses don't have boundaries. They are empaths, and it's something that we have to learn. And if you took on nursing to help people, when you leave the nursing environment, that heart space goes with you into whatever other part of your life that you are navigating. And that's how this happens. So back to the story. Over time, the arrangement began to break down with him and this 19-year-old. Investigators say the young man was not helping with rent, and eventually Torneo asked him to leave. It was not sustainable. The situation may have seemed like a typical disagreement, but according to authorities, it didn't end there. It did not end there. Investigators say that in the early morning hours, the former roommate returned to the home. According to law enforcement, he entered through a window. There was a confrontation. Authorities say the suspect then attacked Torneo with a knife and struck him with a wine bottle. The injuries were severe, and Torneo died inside his home, the same home where he had tried to bring this young man in to help him. Days later, concerned neighbors requested a welfare check. They hadn't seen him in a few days. Something didn't feel right. When they entered the home, they found him. Investigators started piecing together what had happened. They tracked his missing vehicle. His bank card had been used, and eventually authorities arrested Julian Andre Trevino. According to investigators, Trevino admitted to the killing and said the motive involved stealing money. He now faces multiple charges, including first-degree murder. And I just want to say, as with all criminal cases, the charges will be ultimately decided in court. We are not here to do that. I bring these case files so that we are able to walk through them and see the things that nurses deal with. This case is deeply disturbing. He was trying to help this young man. But for many nurses, it also feels familiar in a different way. Healthcare workers are often the ones who give second chances, help people in difficult situations, open their homes, and try to make a difference beyond the hospital. We have to have boundaries as nurses so that we can stay safe. We see the good in people because a lot of nurses are empaths. So with our empathy, we can see past the bad things. But at the same time, we cannot give to our own detriment. We give to the workplace to our own detriment, and we give to others, and even in our own lives. Like we give to strangers, we give to even people in our household. How you do it in one place is how you do it somewhere else. And while this case will be decided in court, it raises a broader question. What happens when the instinct to help meets a risk? Are we analyzing that risk for ourselves? The death of John Torneo is a tragedy. A man known for helping others. Shouldn't be. He lost his life in his own home because he invited a stranger into his home that he was trying to help. But the other thing is that it also reminds us of something really important. Healthcare workers are trained to care for others. And we often go into the field because we want to care for others, but they are not immune to danger. And sometimes the very qualities that make someone a great nurse can also make them vulnerable. This case will move through the legal system, and more details may emerge over time. But it also opens the door to a conversation many healthcare workers don't often have out loud about boundaries, about safety, and about the risk of helping others outside of controlled environments. Even in the controlled environments, we're at risks. Outside the environment, it's even greater. And if you'd like to see a systems analysis episode on the topic, including boundaries, helping behavior, and safety risks for healthcare workers, drop a systems analysis in the comment, and I'd be more than honored to do that. It's very unnerving when we see these situations and these things happen. And I'm very committed to helping nurses create boundaries. And you'll see, once you start creating boundaries in one place in your life, other aspects of your life also improve. So boundaries aren't just for nursing, but we got to start somewhere. All right? I'll see you in the next episode. This is The Broken Shift. Healthcare culture doesn't change when we ignore it. It changes when we're willing to examine it. This is The Broken Shift.